Do 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 do. Ah, okay, I think that's good. Woo! Turn my spotlight up a little
Oh
bit.
no, there's an earthquake.
Ah! It's Star Trek.
Yep.
We just got hit by a photon torpedo. All right, I guess that's going. Start streaming. The live recording session of GeekNights. Audio appears to be good. Wasn't before for a reason, but now it's good. Oh, Audition added this crazy useful feature. So if you're messing with a compressor, it'll show you in like the line of the compressor. It'll show the audio levels and the compression levels in real time if you play a sample through it. It never did that before. That's like a really useful feature, and I'm really excited about it. But I have no reason to use it because like the Geek Night stuff is set up perfectly. All right. Figure out what to do this weekend. Good beach.
I think my mom is coming.
Does your mom want to go to the beach?
I don't know. Saturday is Summer Street.
Oh yeah, I should do that on my rollerblades.
Do you want a Summer Street and then go elsewhere?
Maybe. Thing is, I want to rollerblade and not bike.
Well, you can rollerblade to City Island.
All right, let's see.
You can rollerblade to the beach.
It's Tuesday, August 1st, 2017. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, we're reviewing Dream Daddy.
Oh, baby.
I dated some dads.
I dated them dads.
Woo. Okay. Ah, there's two people watching. Let's do it.
Sad people.
Oh, do I have an opening bit?
Yeah.
I kind of do.
But you wanted to turn it into a Thursday show.
Yeah. Do I have an opening bit other than that?
I got opening bit.
All right, go for it.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Hey, Rim.
Yeah?
What do you see?
I see a book that I haven't finished yet.
I'm still got to read a couple of appendices, but I have seen all there is to see
I'm at a point
of
where
the unholy consult.
I've seen some things.
I know all the secrets of the golden room and its golden secret ways. There is nothing in the golden room that I don't know. There's still plenty of things that no one knows except the author, but that's how books do.
I got some suspicions, but I gotta wait and see.
In case no one knows the hell we're talking about, there's a series of fantasy novels called The Prince of Nothing. We've been reading these things for as long as Geek Nights has existed. And the newest, most epic, revealing one came out in early July. I finished it. Oh, no, it came out late July. I finished it in like a week. It was delayed from July 5th to like July 25th. So I read it. I got the Kindle edition and I finished it fucking 2 days ago.
The only reason I'm not done with it already is that my company we moved offices to Midtown. I'm in the Fashion District now, like 38th Avenue or 38th Street and 7th Avenue.
Oh, man.
So I'm kind of by you.
I'm at 49th and 7th.
Yeah.
Why don't you want to go to the Schnippers that is between both of us?
I think we will at some point.
Tomorrow?
Not tomorrow. I got shit to do still.
Next day?
Well, someday soon. But so my commute's real short, so I'm not reading as much. And I was gonna just finish the book last night, but then I was playing Dream Daddy instead. Oh, someone brought the Prince of Nothing on the Go thread into the new forum.
Good. What do you see there?
What do you see? I see Mog 4 Owl.
I definitely don't see God. I see no God.
Confus has brought a school.
Oh, Confus. I forgot about Confus. He's even mentioned in the newest book.
I don't think he's mentioned once.
That's why. So I mean, there's one thing I like about the series is that these characters will be major characters in one book, but they're not big enough to go to the next book, right?
Yep.
But at least my man Zinimus got a mention.
Zinimus, he got the Rusty treatment
And
right there.
So did his successor, the new Marshal of Atrempus, got a page or at least a couple of paragraphs.
He had like half a page.
Maybe.
Also, Inrao got mentioned.
Inrao got his name printed in the book more than once.
Yeah, that's more than
and not counting the glossary where his name is printed again.
Not idly to the leaves of DeLorean fall and such.
Yeah. So it's not like the greatest fantasy series ever written. It's not perfect. The author is known to be misogynist at times, but we just love these books because they're so Geek Nights.
Yep.
So whatever.
They're all about what you see and what it is to be human and such.
Yep.
What is the soul? It's the stuff. Basically, these books are everything we argued about sitting around after D&D games late at night in college, coupled with the kind of crap we did in D&D games in college.
Coupled with play God sci-fi, coupled with, oh my god, magic wizards and
Yep.
dragons, and coupled with, oh my god, history nerd, it's actually the Crusade. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
but also coupled with horrific coupling.
Yeah, that's
That's also in there.
I guess this fits the North Star type action.
Yeah, that fits with Fist of the North
Only
Star.
not appropriate for 8-year-olds.
No.
In fact, it might not even be appropriate for 80-year-olds.
These books are not appropriate.
For anyone.
But yeah, that's why the book club, the new one, is delayed.
Not
It will be.
NSFL, not safe for life.
So it's Tuesday, so we got some gaming news before
got a lot of little gaming newses.
Yeah. So we'll start with this. Esports, I know we've been talking about this kind of stuff a lot.
Because it's really happening big time now. It's sort of like we're at the forefront here, so we're gonna just keep our surfboard on the crest of that wave as long as we can, right?
Because remember, we did
I don't
that
even know if
panel at
surfboards
PAX.
stay on the crest of waves. There might be some other part of the wave that they stay on, but the point is,
stay, like,
this
inside, like
we're
the-
at the part where the guy is hanging 10, right, and is surfing super awesomely, the perfect part. So
I'm just so glad for once we did our panel where we said all these things that need to happen for esports to get big, and it's recorded and on YouTube with a date.
we
so
have
as things
1,000
happen-
Geek Nights episodes where the same thing happens.
Oh yeah, except what we don't have is we did that one panel. We only did it once. We didn't record it at PAX Prime 2009, where we were like, Nintendo should do this and Sega should do this, and basically almost we were like, why doesn't someone remake XCOM? That would be good. And almost all of it happened.
Anyway, so we talked a while ago about how the owner of the Mets, piece of shit owner Wilpon, bought some esports team.
Yep.
Right? But here we go. The Madison Square Garden company, owned by an even bigger piece of shit owner, if that was possible, Dolan, has bought some gaming team I never heard of. What the hell's their name?
Counter Logic Gaming.
I don't know who they are.
Esports teams have the worst names.
Yeah, but what's really awesome is they put this video, and it's you got the Knicks and the Rangers retweeting this video, and it's Madison Square Garden Company, Rangers, Knicks, Liberty, which is WNBA team.
Yep.
And then Counter Logic Gaming, got 4 logos, all equally sized, horizontally arranged.
3 of these
They
logos.
put this team on the same level as New York Knicks of players who get paid millions of dollars every year.
However, 3 of these logos look appropriate, and one of them just does not look like it fits.
Right, I think they need some new branding because I have a hard time caring about them with their branding. I also think that they play MOBAs, which I don't care about.
Yep.
But
their name
if they
should not be under their logo because it
even
makes it
playing
look offset.
even playing MOBAs, right? If they are playing those MOBAs in Madison Square Garden and they change their branding to make me care about them because they would be more New York-y.
Name of something New Yorky, like the New York subway.
If they were the least bit New Yorky, even playing League of Legends, which I never played in my life. I played Dota though.
Yeah.
If they played that in Madison Square Garden and the season tickets were cheap enough, I would still go.
Yeah.
And cheer for them if
I
they
mean-
just change their freaking brand because I don't care about Counter Logic Gaming.
I mean, I went and saw the Knicks a few times, and I really don't like basketball. And
I
had a pretty
really
good
don't
time.
like basketball.
But I had a pretty good time being at those Knicks games, partly because I could sit right on the court because no one goes to Knicks games.
Going to sports is really. We went to RIT hockey before we cared about them, and then we cared about them. That's how it works. You go and then you care more. It's a chicken and egg situation. You don't go, oh, when I care about that. I would go if I cared more. It's you're never going to care, though. But if you go to one, then suddenly you're going to start caring, and that's how you get hooked.
It's tricky, though.
If I got a
enjoy-
pile of candy and you never ate candy in your life, you're going to be like, I don't need to eat that. It's bad for you. And then you eat one candy.
I guess the problem is I
can tell a candy when I seen it. I got experience of living a long time. I know
I'm
what's good.
glad that we went to that game of footy, but I don't think I'd go to more games of footy.
Would I go to more games of footy? It's a good. I think if I lived in Australia, I don't think I would go to season tickets of footy.
But I would go.
But
if it was,
It would be more like baseball, where I go to one footy a year.
Well, if we go to PAX Australia this year and there's a footy game and I happen to be in Melbourne and
if I lived in
Australia,
if I lived in Australia and it was a thing, I would probably be watching the championship and the playoffs on TV.
I've watched cricket. I would never watch cricket again. Could not care.
Cricket is weird because.
I love everything about it except it.
The professional cricket, right? They do the test matches that last for fucking ever.
Yep.
Right? But I actually would go. I can go to Queens. I can just bike out there to where the amateur people are playing for fun on the weekend, and that's actually way fun.
Well, because they're so into it.
Especially if you just what you got to do is you can't just watch, because the way cricket works is you send out 2 batters and the rest of the team is just like, except for the defense team is all over the place, right? But you just hang out with the batting team, which is only has 2 people out there, and they're chilling and eating and talking, and they're so happy that you care about their game and are actually paying attention to them, and they're ready to talk your ear off about how great cricket is and explain what's going on.
Yep.
Like, that's a good time.
Actually, if I'm going to watch cricket, I almost would rather watch the Trobriand Islanders playing cricket.
Right, but the way they play cricket out at the park is they don't play the infinite test match. They play a set number of runs or whatever it's called. So it's like there's a limited time to how long the thing is going to go.
And also, like, I know Emily would be mad at me, but I can't watch soccer, and I just don't want to go to a soccer game.
Soccer?
I don't want to get beat up by hooligans. And 2, soccer is so boring.
If soccer would A, shrink the field, and B, become more objective, then I would like it. I would be like summer hockey, basically, only on grass. But those 2 things they did not fix, so it is boring as hell.
But I cannot.
I'll just watch
this
GIFs
enough.
when there's an incredible soccer thing on internet.
The
and that's
gist
it.
of this news is that if you're not paying attention, esports. All the real money people are coming into the esports industry like right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is the behind the scenes buildup, because if public
It's
real
not
money,
even behind the scenes. This is in front of the scenes. The behind the scenes part already happened.
So this is there's some of this is appearing in front of the scenes. Usually when that happens, it's because there is a ton more going on behind the scenes.
Oh, there's a huge avalanche behind the
This
scenes.
is just what's bubbling out of the top.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Wall Street dudes, because they know that I do this stuff, because like LinkedIn profile and like some of them find Geeknights. When I'm in like London or Singapore or whatever, people ask me like, so how do I invest in esports? They know.
You can't invest. Sports traditionally have been hard to invest in. You have to buy a team.
And esports, you have to buy a team in most cases, but you could like invest in Blizzard. Like I actually
can't buy like NFL stock. Nope. Otherwise, I totally would.
Some teams,
well,
I
actually,
think,
maybe not. But
technically have stock you can buy for like a fan. Like I own 1 share.
That's the Green Bay Packers. That's the only team,
one.
The only one.
But I bought
the only that's actually the team with the best ownership on earth.
This is not investment advice. I'm not an investment advisor, nor am I a lawyer. But I bought a bunch of Blizzard stock a while ago, and I keep
You mean
buying
Activision
it.
stock?
Activision Blizzard.
Yes.
ATVI, I think is the ticker.
Yes.
Because
But Activision's non-Blizzard stuff is really falling, though.
I know.
But their Blizzard stuff is really taking off.
Exactly. If they, I'm hoping that someday they will cleave all the cruft from that company and just have.
But they
the
bought.
awesome
Why
part.
would they buy Blizzard to then have their main part? That would be like if we bought some other podcast and then that podcast replaced GeekNights and GeekNights went away.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
That happens more often than you'd think in corporate M&A. Like that is
You buy a thing and then that thing is better than the thing that bought it.
it eats you. It's like you try to eat this little guy and then he turns around and just eats you right back. And what do you do?
I don't know.
Usually that'll happen if the other
Well,
guy.
you still own it technically. So what do you care? But it's still weird.
I feel like it usually happens when the buying party is a big old company with tons of money that's shitty and not doing well, and it buys a smaller, better run company, and the smaller, better run company, it does better than it because it's actually a dying giant.
But it now has money invested into it so it can do things.
Like it has old money, and it buys a young money team, and the young money thing then turns into the real money, and the old money thing just dies. Like it's this cancerous corpse of a company.
Activision Blizzard is from the early 90s. Activision is only maybe 10 years older. Because Activision had Atari games, right?
Yeah.
Like Pitfall.
Activision was
and
like
Blizzard
long.
started with PC games.
I want to say like Activision is just this really long and
they're
slow
both pretty
downward spiral.
They're both pretty old is the point.
Yeah.
Right.
But I got faith in them. So pay attention to this stuff, and there are career opportunities in this space as well.
That's what I'm looking for.
Think about how many people work
out.
like a Rangers hockey game. How many people work for that team
Well,
who aren't players on the ice?
A lot of those people work for the Madison Square Garden Company, and they won't need new hires. They're not going to need new ticket sales people or new ushers, or new, right? They're not going to need any of that.
Some esports leagues and teams will need all that stuff.
But they are going to need, other things.
Equipment
right?
managers, coaches, trainers, like... There's going to be an industry here. There are going to be people who go to school, graduate with a degree in like sports medicine, and are literally the trainer, like massaging the players' hands and like keeping an eye on their tendinitis.
That's not the job for me. But if you look at like the job postings of your local sport company like on their website. So like in our case, Madison Square Garden Corporation or Sterling Mets, whatever it's called, right? Just look at the job postings on those company sites and look for ones that mention the esport part, and there might be a future for you
Get in on that ground floor.
that does not involve some boring ass corporate desk.
Yeah, like think someone has to like set up the PCs for the tournaments.
And even if you start with a low ass, that's a low paying part time job, like guy who sets up the PCs. But you know what? That's an entry position, and you're getting in at the very beginning.
Yep.
If you stick with it for a long ass time.
Look at when
10 years from now, you'll be running to shit.
Look at when equipment manager.
You could be like the general manager of a team, which is like a job that pays millions of dollars a year.
It's like in the military. It's the non-commissioned officer track.
Like trading.
That's what this is.
You could be trading players. They'll be talking about you on sports radio.
But look when a team like the equipment manager retires, and they'll always be like, "Come on out on the ice. You've been our equipment manager for 30 years. You're a hero. Woo. You could be that person."
Yep.
So, in some other news,
let's do these news quick.
Yeah,
that was the big news.
There is a new Hearthstone card.
Well, the Hearthstone expansion's coming real soon, and what they do is they always give individual cards to different like media outlets, including streamers, websites, etc., and they all reveal one card each because there's plenty of cards to go around. There's like hundreds of them in different countries too. They dole them out. So the one, I forget who revealed this one, but it's an
Kotaku revealed it as far as I'm concerned.
The Kotaku, anyway, it's an insane card. You play it, and it takes a copy of your opponent's deck and shuffles it into your deck. They've had things like this before, but this is a new frontier.
So in the pre-digital era, like even if you came up with like cleverness in a collectible or non-collectible card game was limited by the physical reality of the cards.
I can't just take a copy of some dude's Magic deck, go into a box, get a full set of cards and then see what's in his deck with my eyes.
Or even stuff like...
Think about that. You get a copy of your opponent's deck, you shuffle it into yours, but you don't even know what's in there, and you start drawing cards. And now when you draw a card, you know that was in his deck at the time that you copied it. It's just so much going on there.
So when Blizzard went digital
with the concealing of the information and it's so great.
They basically...
This is why I keep playing this game, even though it's a random bullshit money game.
There's an ocean of amazing, crazy things they can do with the fact that it's digital while still maintaining the simplicity of the card conceit. But up to this point, they've basically dipped their toes into that ocean. They've been like poke and poke, like step out a little bit.
In the expansion that just came out recently, they've done a few things, like cards that give +1s and stuff to cards that are in your hand. That would be impossible with physical cards, right?
Yep.
And they've also done a lot
But that's wading in, so they still waded in a little bit.
They've done a lot of stuff like, if your deck contains no duplicates or like all these things that you couldn't possibly or very, very difficultly do with physical cards. But this is just...
This is a guy in a catapulted into the middle of the ocean.
This is redonkulous. I don't think... It's like, can you really go further than this? How could you top this?
I think this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
I think there'll be an era of craziness at some point. So in some other news, tiny news, but GameStop is obviously a worthless company. It exists basically solely to prey on kids too young to have credit cards. People who
refuse to use Amazon.
Yep, like GameStop serves
even for buying video games. Even Best Buy is better than GameStop.
Yeah, like Walmart
and don't
is
go
better.
There. Maybe not.
Walmart's cheaper than GameStop, and Walmart will sell you a pre-order and then not have.
There's still worse places than GameStop. But listen.
Well, yeah, like the worst place than GameStop is the guy in the alley behind GameStop.
Right, but we are not paid by Amazon in any way. We honestly just use Amazon for everything because what Amazon does as a business is they screw over people who sell stuff in order to profit for themselves and to benefit customers. And since we are all customers, using Amazon is to our advantage to get games cheap.
I would not care if things like Amazon were more expensive. I'd still use them because I just don't want to go shopping.
Right, the point is, GameStop sucks. Don't go there.
Yeah, so GameStop doubled down on being terrible, and they announced, I don't know if they've personally done this before, but they announced this early. It's August, and they already announced that for Thanksgiving, they're staying open. So if you want to buy
all kinds of places are
Thanksgiving,
staying open on Thanksgiving. That's not new. I'm surprised they weren't open on Thanksgiving previously.
But GameStop
They're
is
late to the
interesting
open on Thanksgiving game.
because I feel like their customer base is almost exclusively 13-year-olds who don't have credit cards.
You know what the problem is? Here's why they got to be open on Thanksgiving, because you know who's open on Thanksgiving?
Walmart.
SteamPowered.com is open on Thanksgiving with a big old fucking sale every goddamn year, and GameStop is sitting there closed at that same exact moment.
Yep.
This is why GameStop...
That is true, because the other demographic at GameStop, other than 13-year-olds...
Are you going to not buy games on Steam because they're open on Thanksgiving?
Are our grandma who wants to buy a video game present for Christmas, and she buys it on the way to the Thanksgiving dinner at the super sale. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't realize that
if your grandma buys you
if
your grandma can buy you a Steam gift card with her phone, you have the best grandma.
Yeah. So I weirdly deeply enjoy watching large conventions fail, which puts extra pressure when we start our convention to not fuck it up. But
we're gonna be so small we can't fuck it up.
If we mess it up, like I have dug this grave for myself. But it happened yet again, and there's a moral here. Apparently, there's a gamer cruise that was going to be like a PAX cruise or a Joko cruise, but it's going to be like gaming.
Who ran it?
The Video Gamer Gauntlet. I don't even know.
Never heard of them.
So basically,
where was the cruise going to and from?
Who even cares? Because none of that's interesting.
Well, it could have been a cold cruise versus a nice,
Royal Caribbean. It was going to be a big cruise ship.
Well, they're only getting a part of it, though.
Yeah.
They're not the whole boat.
But the story is, they got a bunch of sponsors to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the sponsors pulled out because they're not well organized, I guess.
Yep.
And because some of the sponsors pulled out, the cruise line was like, yo, you don't have enough credit, so you need more sponsors or got to pony up money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to find more sponsors, but because they don't have sponsors enough, other sponsors were like, whoa. And now
why did
out.
those sponsors pull out? Why would I pull in?
Yep. So the moral here is
if this was a good deal, why did those people
The reason I bring this news up is because there's a pattern here with all these big nerd events that are starting to pop up and fail. The problem is a lot of companies or people who have some money or some investment ties go to a nerd convention like PAX or SDCC or something, and they see it, and they go, wow.
Some assholes go to a convention, and they see it, and they go, I could do this.
I could do this, but then they
who do I know like that?
Oh, yeah, but here's the difference. Here's the difference. They try to start that big. They start...
But cruises are not big.
Yeah, but this is big enough.
Anyone can organize one of these cruise events.
This one already. So this one started...
Cruise events are actually some of the easiest to organize.
It depends. So there's a lot of ways. There's like 4 or 5 different structures to those kinds of events. But they started at the level of you need multiple big money sponsors for the event to even occur.
Mm-hmm.
That's already too big for a first convention.
Yep.
We're starting on the level of we're personally funding the entire first event. That is the level you start at. We're shooting for like 100 people.
Mm-hmm. A one room.
Yeah, one room. Maybe 2 rooms.
Daddy 2 room.
Daddy 2 room is
the second room is the storage room for our stuff.
Yeah, and maybe the panel room for
the coat check is the
4 panels.
Second room is the coat check.
Yeah, if we have a panel track, there will be 1 track. Here are the panels. There's 6 of them. Like that's the
They're
level.
in the same room as the other stuff.
Yup, on a stage.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a game called PUBG. You might have seen it around.
It's called Player Unknown Battlegrounds.
I really want to play it. It sounds
I'm thinking about playing it, but it's too much money and it's whatever. But it's basically it's Battle Royale, but the rules are slightly different. Basically, in Battle Royale, if you've ever seen the movie, which you should,
do not read the comic. It is vile. I say that having read a bunch of the last book of the Prince of Nothing.
Maybe you should read. I haven't read the book. The original Battle Royale was actually a book.
The Battle Royale
I haven't read it. Might be good.
The Battle Royale manga is vile to the point that I stopped reading it after 2 volumes.
But anyway, the movie's good. So in the movie, the way it works is they're on the island and there's all these rules with the neck things and whatever. And it's like you can't be in certain zones at certain times. The way PUBG works
Hunger Games.
Is there's a big circle that gets smaller and smaller and smaller, aiming at a certain point. So basically, even though the game is long, you're forced to get closer and closer to everyone over time, and eventually there's one person left at the end who wins. Right? So and
now most people who I trust talk about this game. They always say, "Oh, it's bad. Here's all the problems." But then they also
I hear good things about it.
But then they also say that they have a lot of fun playing it, and they just keep playing it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's too much money right now for me to play when I've got all these other games.
I could buy it for you with the Patreon money, but then we'd have to do shows and live
How much am I
streams.
going to play it though? You're just going to throw that money away.
Well, what we'd have to do is like live stream it a bunch and then like do a big show on it.
I'm not going to play it enough to be worth paying. But anyway, there's a controversy now because the game is early access. and they're starting to sell some loot crates with, cosmetic loot in them.
For $250.
All right, whatever. I don't care about, as long as they're only selling cosmetic stuff, that never bothers me because I just don't buy it, right? I only take free stuff. But if it's pay to win, it's not pay to win, right? Everyone's still on equal footing. So it's fine by me. I don't give a shit. If I played it, I would just never buy a single loot crate ever. But people are real upset because they promised maybe that they wouldn't sell loot crates till they were officially released, but they're not yet, so they're selling loot. And there was another game that did this was that our Survival Evolved that was sold a whole DLC before it, while it was still early access.
Yep.
And here's the thing, people, and this I've saying this a long line. This beta, early access stuff is just like this completely arbitrary distinction. Right?
Yeah, games don't get released and be done anymore.
If the game is either ready for the public to play it or not, right? It's like you might put some label on it to say, oh, it still has bugs. Oh, we're still working on it. But if people are playing it and having fun, it's fucking released.
In fact, arguably, that's one of the problems with Video Ball, which should have been great, is that I think they waited too long.
Well, I think the thing is, it's fine to wait too long. That's what Half-Life 1 did, right? It's like, we're going to just work on this forever until it's perfect, and then they released it all at once, right? But you basically didn't see much of it until it was released.
True.
Right? But I mean, I completely ignore whether a game pretty much... Like, the only thing I look at when a game is early access is I'm basically seeing how done the game is, right? Because sometimes... Because it's okay to release a game that's not 100% done as long as it's playable, but some people are putting games out that are like, there's nothing there. It's literally like, you can jump, and it's a platformer, you can jump, and there's no bad guys or nothing yet. And they're like, oh, early access. It's like, what?
But I guess what I don't understand
But I mean, these games are at a point to where, like, the game is there. Tons and tons of people are playing this thing. It's a game. It's a real game. Who cares if they call it early access because they're still doing stuff, right? They just put out an update that added, like, vehicle horns. It's, like, such minor changes going on now. You're telling me this game is not released? Seriously? It's like, we got to start ignoring these labels, right?
But at the same time, the players who are mad about this just don't buy the cosmetic nonsense.
Well, yeah, don't be a person who cares about cosmetic nonsense and never buy. If no one bought any cosmetic nonsense, game developers wouldn't be selling it because no one would buy it because they'd go, oh, why would I pay for that? That's literally nothing. Why am I giving you money for bits? That's stupid.
As people still, whenever I play Overwatch and I live stream it, people increasingly get mad at me. I have 107 unopened loot crates.
You should just go for 1,000. And you should never open those loot crates.
I'm getting them faster now because I'm actually playing the arcade mode, so I get like a bunch of extra ones.
Oh.
Because the arcade mode, they have a really good mode now. It is so great. It's 6v6. And it's just deathmatch. You don't respawn. And you play, it's best of, like, whoever wins.
So Counter-Strike without bombs or
whoever
hostages?
wins 3. But the rule is, if you win a round, any characters that anyone on your team picked for that round, you cannot use for the rest of the game.
So if we win round 1 and I chose that gamer girl with the robot.
Yeah, then no one can be the gamer girl with the robot for the rest of the entire game. No one on your team.
No one on the whole team, not just me.
Yeah.
No one on the whole team.
So there's only
Don't
so
you
many...
run out of characters?
Yeah. So usually you'll see like one team wins 2 in a row, and then they're kind of bad at the remaining characters, and then they get steamrolled, like stuff like that.
But
happens.
the other team is gonna have to choose shitty characters in their round 3.
Or a team might mess up and pick 2 healers twice, and now they got no healers for the last round. Like you can really mess yourself up. It's way fun, like way fun. And
good mode. Good mode.
They're really short too.
Good mode.
So I can like play 3 rounds of it in like 10 minutes and then just be done. Like,
I appreciate this mode.
Yeah.
It's a good mode.
And last, this could almost be a whole episode, but we'll see where basically...
It's similar to the previous news, which is why I wanted to bring it up,
Yeah, but
right?
it's bad. Like, extra bad.
In the Zelda game for the Switch, right, they had this thing where if you got Amiibos, you could hook them up, and you would get like treasure chests falling out of the sky with stuff in them. And some of the stuff was exclusive stuff, but it was cosmetic stuff like Nintendo Switch t-shirt. It's like, who cares if Link can wear a Nintendo Switch t-shirt? I don't.
Or like you can ride Epona for a while. Like, okay.
Yeah, you can get the actual Epona and not just some other horses. But it's like, I don't
She's not as good as Calamitous, my giant Ganon steed.
Yeah, you mean Kakuogo? The horse, the demon horse. Anyway, the Fist King rides.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But now there's some Metroid games coming for the old DS, right? There's that remake of Metroid 2 coming for the DS.
Yep.
And you can hook some Amiibos up to it. It's specifically, and it's not just any Amiibos. It's specifically these Metroid Amiibos. But that new amiibo, the one with the Metroid on the broken canister, if you get that amiibo, it specifically unlocks like hard mode, and this like actual game content is locked behind this amiibo. Now, it's like I could probably find someone who has the amiibo and like wave it near my DS and be good to go. But
or I would just do the pirate
how
thing.
much do fucking amiibos cost?
And also it's sort of like stealth DLC.
Like you're really charging. Like it's like on the one hand you could say, all right, you sell a DLC and you get a free statue.
Yeah.
You could think of it that way. It's like, oh, this game has a DLC and it comes with a free statue.
But it feels dirty to sell a physical piece of plastic and then say, oh, you need this to play the full game.
Well, it feels a little less dirty because one person buys the piece of plastic and waves it on everyone's DS.
Yep.
So you don't actually need to pay for it for everybody, right? But it's like, this is still, like, am I really going to be able to find someone who has this fucking amiibo? Right, I still have never waved even one amiibo near any of my Nintendo consoles.
But also, I've read.
But the thing is, if I get that Metroid game, which I will, I really want that mode.
Yeah,
I want that. I want that, and I don't want to buy that amiibo because that's a useless piece of plastic.
There's a wider problem that the amiibos themselves sort of had a bubble, and I feel like there's amiibo fatigue, because the problem is people who collected them early really like them for their physicality.
There's still people who are nuts on collecting all the amiibos.
Yeah, but now I think they're going to run out of space.
The Nintendo store had a big old amiibo section. Everyone was into the amiibos.
I'm just waiting for the amiibo bubble to crash.
Yeah, I'm not an amiibo fan. I'm done
All
with useless piece of plastic.
That's good. Let's do the next half of the show. Let's see what do we got going. Wow, there's like 16 people watching this one.
Too many people.
I think they really want to find out about Dream Daddies.
Are they saying anything about amiibos?
Nope, they're not talking about amiibos. They're talking about do the Utena show. Also, you're kind of cute, apparently.
All right, well, that's too bad.
All right, let's see. Things of the day.
If you're looking for some action, there's some dads you can date.
I got thoughts about.
I know about quite a few dads that are available if you're looking. You know.
The thing is, they're all good dads. Like every one of them is. Blonde guy is obviously a demon of some kind, but I digress. I don't like him.
The one I don't like is actually. It's weird because I think every dad has a part I like and a part I don't like. But for all the good parts of the big fat grilling dad,
oh yeah,
all his other parts besides basically being Pete are bad parts.
He's like an annoying version of Pete.
Yeah,
like he's a little too annoying.
His annoying parts override his grilling skills.
But his daughter is like super pro.
Yeah, sure.
But he's just annoying. Like he's
an annoying guy except for his grilling.
Yep.
And his lawn mowing and such.
All right.
And he doesn't look bad. It just.
But anyway, things of the day. What do you got for me?
Oh, so we always talk about. Apparently, we mispronounced his name wrong. Neil Cicierega, one of the creators of all great internet things, right? You know, he's made some videos like that you may have seen. Like, what was that one in the arcade they did, the long one?
Well, there's Friend or Foe.
Friend or Foe is the one of the shorter ones.
But if you don't know, he has done like Potter Puppet Pals. That was him.
Yep.
So many internet things, like it boggles the mind.
Anyway, so he's got a new Patreon with his friends here that he does videos with called Guaranteed Video, and they have been guaranteeing videos, and those videos have appeared, and the newest video is Everybody's Pants Now. And I unironically fucking love that song, and I had the original album on CD when it came out, and I love CNC Music Factory is my jam. I figure they're like one step under Captain Jack in the same musical category.
Oh, it's Captain Jack.
Right.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's Captain Jack.
Right.
Can I get your autograph?
So, I love CNC Music Factory. They're great. And they took that song and they changed the lyric to Everybody's Pants Now, and they made this great video, and it is more than Thing of the Day worthy. You should Patreon Guaranteed Video so that you will be guaranteed video.
I was guaranteed this video, and I'm glad that I funded the creation of this video.
Mm-hmm.
So someone tweeted this, and it's just 4 strips. It's from, there's a lot of manga, obviously. And
there
comics,
is more manga than you can read in your life, accept it now.
But this one in particular doesn't look like this has ever been translated, except some fan translations. And it looks like it's just this really funny 4-komi about Link being kind of excitable and dumb. And it's really, really, really cute and way funnier than I expected it to be, and I'm kind of really
I
into
think it's
it.
Wind Waker Link, right?
Yeah, it looks like it because there's the bird girl.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's the boat.
Yep.
Danger, don't disturb the bomb plant, but he's already disturbed it.
Yep.
This is just really cute and funny, and I highly recommend you find this wherever
There
it
are
may be.
there are lots of 4-komas that are out there, and they're rarely translated.
In the meta moment, the Book Club book will very soon be the 5th season.
Yep. By N.K. Jemisin. Not spring, not winter, not summer, not fall.
But March.
A 5th season. Read this fantasy novel. It's like the hotness. I'm probably going to start it once I'm in a reading mood again because I just finished reading some. So
Gotta take a break
I'm
after
gonna play some games and then I'm gonna read again.
after seeing What Do You See, and now you've seen it.
I want
to see what I see in the Fifth Element now.
I need you to see so that we can tell each other what we've seen.
I'm gonna burn through. I'm gonna see.
Maybe you've seen something I haven't seen.
I'm gonna see as soon as I can because I'm feeling it. I particularly appreciated that the Korai Horde not only came back but was used to very excellent effect.
You're not done with that Korai Horde.
Well, the Korai Horde was used and then recovered to be used again.
Yep. You're not done with that Korai
And I'm
Horde.
sure there is yet a third usage of it.
Oh, that Korai Horde.
That Korai Horde is already doing some good biz.
Woo.
The fact that Sakarpas.
All right, let's actually get on with the show.
Okay,
Too
so
much Prince of Nothing action.
so there's this game called Dream Daddy, a dating simulator, and
So this game was, I actually only saw the announcement for it like recently, like weeks, months, not.
it came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, and then there was a little drama because they're like, oh, we had to delay the release. And like a couple weeks later, it was released. And it was like, people got mad, upset. I'm like, people, do not announce release dates for anything. Just say when it's done, and then put it out, and it'll
Mostly, I
it'll
don't
be a surprise.
understand the people who get mad when a release date changes. Like,
Yeah,
just
who
live
do you,
your
what do you,
life.
just, I would never put out a release date for anything that I do ever. I would just say, I'm making this thing, get hype, it's going to come out when it's ready, and then it'll be ready one day, and I'll just release it, surprise, and people will go, oh shit, and that's how I would do. And then you don't have to worry about delaying things because no one fucking knows.
Now, this is on my radar for a while because obviously with Pillow Fight and like Ghost of Miami, I'm
Right.
very invested in the visual novel scene.
This is a visual novel.
So I play a lot of visual novels for research. This one was all over my feed to the point that it felt like this omnipresent game that was going to consume all.
Right. So this
and
is
yet when I live streamed it last night, almost everyone watching had never heard of it.
What?
They were all like, "What is this game that
Do
you're
you
playing?"
read internet people?
Yeah,
If you're
talk to an old person.
read internet all day, every day. Anyway, so this is a visual novel in which you date dads.
Like literally.
It does not have.
Well, you are a dad.
It's the visual novel choose your own adventure style, not the Tokimeki simulation style that I think is more fun. But anyway,
It's closer to that though than a lot of other visual novels.
it has some.
It's not a step. It's not a step builder.
It pretends to have some.
Yeah,
But anyway.
But it doesn't. Well, the cleverness is a lot of the greatest visual novels appear to have a lot more going on in the back end than they actually do.
Correct.
But it doesn't matter because if you feel like it's there as far as games are concerned.
So anyway, the story is you're a dad, a single dad, and you move into this town, right? Oh, I think you already live in the town. You're moving across town.
Yeah, you're moving. You're like
Your point is you're moving
You
houses.
move to the cul-de-sac of dads.
Yes,
like the dad horde is on
you
this
and your
cul-de-sac.
daughter, who is about to graduate high school, it's her senior year of high school. You move to a new house at a new cul-de-sac, and every house in the cul-de-sac has a hot dad with or without children living in it, and you got to deal with your daughter. And because your spouse is no more, maybe you'll hit on some of these dads.
Yep. So I accidentally had sex with Robert like right away. Like
I wonder if there are
the
any.
first night
See,
I was in town.
There's these 7 dads they show you that are like the 7 dads on Dad
Oh, you
Book.
think there's like an 8th dad?
Is there a secret 8th dad? Because I didn't put a lot of effort in trying to unlock anything or
I
do any
basically
good or
played-
go for any good
I
endings.
played through it once just because I wanted like
I just played through real fast, straight through.
I thought a lot about design. I made my dad avatar and
You made it look like you.
it looks exactly like me, except I put the mustache back because it's dad.
Mine looks a little like me because
2 people in the chat were like, the default avatar looks exactly like Scott.
Yeah, the thing is, you can really make the dad maker was like it's almost like that in itself. Remember that MMO with the superheroes where you could really go nuts?
Oh yeah,
it's like the dad maker is pretty. It's not quite me level, but it's pretty serious.
Like I clicked around and like a few minutes later, I had a perfect rim.
You can make a lot of good dads with the dad maker.
Did you see someone made
the dad maker alone is worth buying this game?
Right after the game came out, this hit my Twitter feed like 8 different ways. Someone made Roger Klotz. And made
I don't know who Roger Klotz is.
From Doug.
Oh, with the green face and the orange hair.
Klotz. That guy.
Yeah.
Made him perfect, except he's not green, because you can't make him green.
Sure.
But he's like perfect, like almost too perfect.
Yeah, why not?
But the beauty of this game is just that it's called Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator. And you both are a dad and date dads, because that would be the question. So am I a dad trying to date, or am I trying to date dads? It's both.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked it, and it actually did a lot of clever things that I haven't seen in a lot of visual novels.
Yeah, so first of all, like, the plot that involves the daughter is actually kind of like a decent plot. Like, you learn, and it's like, even though I'm not a parent and have no plans to be, you can feel this frustration in these, like, just these multiple choice dialogue options, right?
Yep.
Of between being, like, the overprotective parent or being the not enough parent, right? And it's like, oh, this is, and you can, it's like, whoever wrote this did a good job. And there's like a little bit of voice acting that did a good job. And there's like, it's like, it's like, it's really, really well crafted. Even the thing that I care about the most always is, as a piece of software, is it well crafted?
It just works.
It's like, yeah, it works perfectly. It works at all resolutions. It's smooth. There's no weird lags or control problems. Like it's basically just perfect. It saves. One thing it does really nice as a piece of software is it saves the game basically constantly.
Yep.
So it's basically like having a choose your own adventure that automatically puts a million fingers in all the pages.
That's a real important part of the UX of a good visual novel.
So you can always go back and load and redo anything you want. But basically what it is, the game starts off with the intro day.
Right? Well, it starts with that song. It has its own theme song about dads.
All right. So on the intro day, you sort of go around, you move, and you meet all the town and get set up with the basics. Then eventually on the next day, or after there's a barbecue where like all the dads are there. After that barbecue, the next day you wake up and you learn how to use Dad Book. So in Dad Book is basically Facebook just for dads plus dating. And there's all the dads' profiles there. And you can you can choose which dad to message, and the 7 dads.
Yep.
And whichever dad you message will say yes and go hang out with you that day. And you can...
Similar to Tokimeki, like who you can hang out with this weekend.
Right, you choose one of the dads, and then you get some dad plot and you get some daughter plot. And you hang out with that dad and stuff happens. And basically you can hang out with, as far as I can tell, because I only did basically, one dad pretty much. But basically I did one dad. Then I did a different dad.
Do the dad or just hang out with the dad?
I chose one dad.
Okay, because
I chose Vampire Dad. Then on the second day, I chose Banana Bread Dad. And then I went back to Vampire Dad. And then if you choose the Vampire Dad or any dad a third time, they're like, this is going to basically end the game once you choose a dad a third time. You're committing to that dad. And it's like, all right, I'll just commit to Vampire Dad and end the game. So I did. And obviously I didn't get the best ending. Right, but I learned a lot about Vampire Dad, right? Because I chose him a third time.
Because a big part of visual novels like this kind is you expect people to play through it a bunch to sort of plumb the depths of all the dads.
So I think
all the plots.
I think what you want to do if you want to really completely do this game is do every dad twice, right? Go to you can see on Dad Book every dad has 3 hearts because every time you hang out with them you get 1 heart. So hang out with every dad 2 times to see a ton of plot, save the game, and then do the 3rd episode of each dad one at a time. And then that will be an efficient way to go through the game with all dads and try to get the best endings and see all of the things there are to see in the game. Because the way I did it, I'm going to have to load the game way back and go through different dads.
So the thing is, you're just going to have to play it again, I think, because based on what I played so far, there's like a lot of the choices are arbitrary and just lead to like a slightly different funny joke.
But sometimes one choice will like make hearts come out of a dad, and another choice will make like a black smoke come out of them.
But also some choices will will give you scenes you will not see otherwise. Just in the first day, you can have sex with Robert like right away.
Even on the intro day?
Yeah.
You didn't even go to dad book
I didn't
yet.
even know dad book existed. I already had sex with Robert while my daughter had a slumber party. And then I woke up in his apartment, hungover, and he's like, yeah, you should probably leave. And I'm like, oh, shit. I hope my daughter's alive because I just left her home alone.
Yeah, I saw Robert in the back of the coffee shop and didn't talk to him.
Oh, coffee shop, no, because I did not want to let anyone get in the way of me and Matt getting together. Because Matt is the best dad, and there's no one fight me.
Well, okay, so here's the thing with the dads, at least what I gathered. I don't want to like spoil any of these because the game is pretty much just a book, right?
It's a choose your
and
own
while
adventure.
I don't believe,
which is a trademark term, so it's not a choose your own adventure.
right. But while I don't believe in spoilers, I'm still not gonna, I'm not going to tell you anything because I want you to buy this game.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think the way it works
I'm
is
going to play
that
it some more.
each dad on the surface seems to have a stereotype, right? There's your old college roommate who seems like a sporty dad who has a bunch of kids. There's the Christianish yuppie, wears looks like a guy from Scooby-Doo dad.
Who is clearly married to a demon from beyond who
Well-
has had demon children.
Right. There's like the stereotype surface level you see of all these guys, right?
Yep.
There's, cool coffee shop owning banana bread dad who Rim thinks is best dad.
He has the best voice. He
I
has the
thought
best
he was
fashion.
I thought he was best dad on day one also.
Yeah.
There's teacher dad, sexy teacher dad.
Yep.
There's
I points to him for being an insufferable pedant.
Oh yeah. Vampire dad. Bad dad, who's the one Rim had sex with.
So Bad Dad's wearing the Vaughn from Escaflowne shirt. So I'm assuming this is like washed up Vaughn when he finally made it back to
it's
Earth.
sunglasses, motorcycle, alcohol,
He's like, hey.
dog with spike necklace dad, right?
I did. So when I went to the bar, there's like this shitty dive bar in town, and I went there to watch sports ball, but to avoid having to be around while my daughter had a slumber party. And first, the wife of the middle guy tried to sex me, and I was like, hell no. And then this guy was like, hey. And I was like, hey. And then one thing led to another, and I was in his apartment or his house.
But anyway, and then the final dad is the large, ho-ho dad.
Yep.
Right? The grilling and lawn mowing and sort of Vikingish kind of dad.
It's complicated by the fact that they're all dads, they'll have kids, but they all have very different kids' situations. Some of the kids are good, some of them are bad, some of them are complicated.
But anyway-
the baby is not real because it never blinks.
Yeah, but anyway, the point is, each of the dads, I think what happens is based on my judgment of Vampire Dad, is that on the third day of each of the dads,
He revealed his corn chip stash to you.
they reveal that there's another side to them that you don't see. You only see the stereotyped sort of character that they appear to be. So you only see vampire stuff for day 1 and day 2, and on day 3 you see what he's really like.
He's
right?
really a LARPer.
So I think that with all these other dads, I assume the same thing will happen, that if I go out with them 1-2 times, I'll just see, like if I hung out with college roommate dad, I'd see him doing sportsy stuff with his kids for day 1 and 2, and I think on day 3, like I'd learn his real deal, right?
that the kid he's carrying around everywhere is actually a robot.
Maybe.
It doesn't blink. Every other character blinks, but not that baby.
Right. But I think that's generally the deal, right? So
a really important aspect is that it has a lot of sort of mini games, and some of them like are literally like a Pokemon battle.
yep.
And some of them you don't quite realize it's a mini game until you lose it. Like at one point I'm cooking breakfast hungover with my daughter, and she says a weird word like macadamia, gazebo, and my prompt is I can say a bunch of those words or check on the bacon. And at first I'm trying to ignore her because I have a hangover, and I don't want her prodding into the fact that I sexed Robert the previous night. So I just keep checking on the bacon, and then she starts playing this word game with me. And I, as a player, and this is in the live stream, legit get into it and start playing the word game with her in the voice dialogues. And because I didn't check on the bacon, it catches fire.
Yeah, there's also actual like video games. Like there's one I went to a concert with the dad that Rim likes the most.
Yeah.
Right? And after going to the concert, it's like when I first saw him on the intro day, I thought he was best dad, but after going to the concert, I wasn't into him as much. But there was a mini
He's
game.
just so hot that I'll overlook almost anything.
And he's still the hottest, yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, during that concert, there was an actual game that was like get to the front of the crowd, because I went to the bathroom, then the concert started, and I had to basically find him in the crowd and like push my way up to the front. And that game was sort of not well programmed. It was sort of a pain in the ass and not the greatest, and I lost it because I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on really.
But
but it's
fits
like
your dad
but it's like
character.
it was an actual video game and not a. It's like you had to maneuver in real time to. It wasn't just multiple choices. It's like this other thing that affected the actual game. And I
For
think
a second, I thought I remember when
and
you
in order to play all of these little mini games, I think you're gonna have to go out with each dad.
remember in Earthbound when you got to push through all the cultists to get to the big cultist.
Yeah, similar.
But I feel like with all these little mini game things, it's interesting because a lot of them sort of like that one in particular, right? The way the dialogue goes, the dad Sona that you make, kind of like not super social and not really well versed.
Yeah,
in
you don't have
ways
any
of-
choice in your own personality. It's like your dad is sort of a not like a do nothing, doesn't have a lot of interests, and is socially awkward. And not socially awkward like he behaves in a bad way, like that guy, but in that he's just like shy and introverted. Right, and
so a lot of his
he really
problems-
cares about his daughter a lot, but doesn't really like have anything interesting going on, other than that,
Yep.
he's,
So he's a
a
self-insert.
warm, caring kind of person.
But he's not a complete self-insert because he has some.
Right, if you're an extroverted like go-getter, you can't be that.
Yeah.
You can't. You can try to force yourself to do that, but even if you choose those options, like. I'm gonna, it basically it doesn't come off as a guy who actually is extroverted, but as a dad who is, he's still introverted, but he's going out there because he knows he should, and he's succeeding in fighting himself, as opposed to actually being the person you are.
But to review it, and again to not spoil anything because I think it's worth playing. This game is really good.
Oh yeah,
I laughed out loud repeatedly.
it's real funny. It's well written. It's well made. It's well crafted.
And there's clever stuff in the UX, like little things, like most visual novels.
When the dads kissed, I was actually like, ooh.
Yeah?
It wasn't. It wasn't
so-
just like It's like what's gonna happen, right? So
Yup.
you think it would just be like, meh. All right, we finally got to that part. But it's like I was actually like, ooh.
I don't think there are explicit sex. Like you can straight up have explicit sex, but it doesn't just show that. But
Nothing was. There was no visual. Even the kissing was not even visually displayed on the screen.
But-
there were words. It definitely happened. It's like, oh, and we kissed.
when I sexed Robert on the first night, it was very well written.
Yeah.
Put it that way. I could see why Robert is an attractive gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
But
Was it actually going into details about like your butt or whatever?
it went into details about where he grabbed me and hips and things, and it was pretty good.
Alright.
Yeah. But the UX is pretty clever too. So like it'll have a really good background, like the fonts and everything are great. The things that like that's the only thing that'll break me out of visual novel is if the font kerning is bad, the font spacing is bad. There's
Oh yeah.
like, that stuff's
In
all
fact, not
perfect.
only did it not have those problems, but I was able to rapidly push the spacebar to get through text crazy fast.
But if you don't
which
do
is
that,
really good for
the
my
text
eyes.
timing and cadence is actually someone put way more effort into the text cadence than they probably even needed to.
I mean, it's correct, right? It's not usually that's something that would bother me a lot, but I was able to fly through at my reading speed and get through the game
Yep.
nicely.
But if you let the game do the text reveal on its own,
It doesn't feel slow. It's just, you're still pushing spacebar though.
Mostly I was doing it slower because I was live streaming it, so I want to make sure everyone can follow along.
Yeah.
And partly I'd waited because I was laughing out loud a lot.
Yep.
But also, so it shows dialogue boxes based on when people are talking, and the characters react pretty well, but it also has a separate dialogue box for any inner monologue, which is important because a lot of visual novels have trouble differentiating between characters saying something versus descriptive text, and the descriptive text is framed as your own inner monologue with a different box. And all these factors together, the UX is nearly impeccable. I can come up with very few criticisms of how the game's actually put together.
Yeah. Another thing that happens is after each date with a dad, this score screen comes up.
Oh, yeah.
And the score screen, I don't know how much of it is real and fake, but you do get like an S rank, A rank, C rank, D rank, F rank with that dad. And I think that does have some effect on where the game goes. Like if you get all S ranks with a dad, I'm pretty sure you get better stuff with them. I think my ranks are like A, then C, then S, or was it SCS or I don't know. I got
a big part of why I was into Matt, the coffee shop guy, was that he really liked my name for the banana bread. Like way liked it.
Which one did you choose?
I already don't remember what the options were.
He really liked mine.
Which one was yours?
I forget.
Banana bread dream daddy. The problem is I'm reading Prince of Nothing, so I got too many.
Oh, Right
Said Bread.
That's what I chose.
That was the
I
best
chose
one.
Right Said Banana Bread also.
But the fact that he has good taste means that he's my main man. My main dad so far. Unless I learn like he's a serial killer or something.
I mean, I think all the dads have a secret after that. After the third date, the game ends. Once you get a third date with a dad, and then you learn their real deal.
I worry what would have happened if I'd bought a drink for the bad lady. Because she comes over and like aggressively flirts with you.
I learned about her actually in Vampire Dad's third day.
Ooh.
Even though I didn't think I would see her at all because I didn't go into that I didn't go in that area of the game.
I figured you'd get her deal by dealing with him.
But I'll say that she was doing quite the opposite of evil in that area.
Oh,
so if you want to see some non-evil of that lady, go to the Vampire Dad's
I only assume
third
she's
day.
evil because her kids are clearly demons.
I think it's just the way they draw her face on purpose to make her...
But no, her kids are
right?
clearly inhuman. They're like Anna Surimbor kids.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I got at least from the barbecue, I actually hated her husband, and I thought she was probably cool.
Oh, I don't like her husband either. He's bad news. I didn't like either one of them.
Well, they're the Jesus-y type people.
I mean, if I had to rank them based on the surface only, it's definitely Banana Bread guy.
They seem like the Pleasantville, right? It's like no good.
Banana Bread guy. I feel like Robert's got some hidden depths. I feel like there's something there that's good.
They all have hidden depths.
Yeah. Of course, I mean, I guess his hidden depth could be just worse than what he is on the surface. Like, oh, I'm a rebel. No, really, I killed a bunch of people. So yeah, this game is like super legit good. Even if you don't think you like visual novels, like I'd recommend it. It's not that expensive.
Yeah, I think this is actually a great, like, if you are someone who hasn't played visual novels, like, this is something that you could introduce to even people who aren't visual novel people, or see if you're gonna like visual novels.
No, dude, I think,
and this is so appropriate for anyone who's over like 18 or even 16.
My mom would legit like this game.
Yeah,
I don't know if my dad would, but my mom would definitely play this game.
Yeah,
I think I might just buy it for her.
This game is so. Has such a broad appeal to anyone who has no problem with gayness. You can use it probably as a great way to detect if someone is a good person or a bad person. If they don't like this game, they're probably a bad person.
I feel like I'm looking forward to cosplay.
Oh, you want to cosplay some dads?
I could be the vampire dad.
You maybe could be the vampire dad.
That's the only one I could be, I think.
I can't be any of those dads. I'm
not hot enough to be most of them.
Yeah.
Pete could pull off Viking Dad, I think, if he grew a beard.
Yeah, to grow his hair back.
Yeah. He could do it.
None of the dads in the game are bald, except if you make your own dad bald.
Yeah. And I don't know anyone in person as hot as Matt, so.
Who do I know that's that hot?
Do I know anyone that hot? I got no one.
Nope. I mean, the dads are unrealistically hot, by the
way. Okay, I think we're done, but you should play this game. I think it was a good show. I'll do the Patreon thing really quick. And then I'm crazy hungry. We might just we got some lentil soup that we might reheat. I don't know if you want that. All right, who are my patrons for this? Few current patrons. And the patrons for this episode of Geek Nights are Alan Joyce, Heidi McNichol, Amanda Duchette, and Thomas Hahn, MyStadia.com, William Eisbros, Jeremy Miner, Life and Death and Love and Birth and Peace and War on the Planet Earth, a genuine bona fide electrified 6-car monorail, Nicholas Brandau, Captain Chinguakusi, Rebecca Dunn, The Terrible Secret of Space, 421 Creations, That's Because We're Fighting Each Other, Shervin Von Horrell, Rare Lavelle, James David White, Rochelle Montanona, who is an Omeganaut, Superboy, I paid $5 to make Rimsay Pickle, Sailor Vista, Matthew Smith, Don Schleich, Guitar Television, Joshua Joestar, Sean Yeager, Sam Cordery, Clinton Walton, Ren from New Zealand, Ryan Perrin, Drew Openlander, Brian Cedrone, Finn, Chris Midkiff, Chris Knox, Daniel Redmond, Sean Klein, Chris Reimer, and Thomas Hahn. I am working on the new tennis shows. I'm going to share some pre-production notes on the Patreon as soon as I get a chance. We're working on our convention. We're getting ready for PAX and our new panel. And yeah, stuff's coming. Geek Nights is in full swing. You might have noticed I published a new Rims rant on heuristics. I also published a Roomly review of Fargo TV. And a Roomly review of Westworld will be up probably later this week. And now I leave you with